Good morning to one and all. Today we are going to study the new chapter oils, fats, soaps and detergents. It is the fourth unit of organic chemistry paper number 6. Previously we have completed 3 units of this chemistry paper number 6, namely name reactions of aldehydes and ketones with mechanism, introduction to organometallic compounds, and aromatic carboxylic and sulfonic acids. So today we are going to study the fourth unit of this chemistry paper number 6, known as oils, fats, soaps and detergents. In this chapter we have to study the main 3 points, that is fats and oils, soaps and synthetic detergents. It means this chapter is divided into 3 sections. First section is regarding fats and oils, second section is about soaps, and third section is about synthetic detergents. Today we are going to study the first section of this unit, and it is fats and oils. And in this section we have to study the introduction of fats and oils and chemical nature, its general physical properties and chemical properties like hydrolysis, hydrogenation, hydrogenolysis, transesterification, rancidity and autooxidation, and analysis of fats and oils. In this we have to study 4 parameters. The first 2 parameters, that is saponification value and iodine value, they are in our syllabus, but remaining 2, that is acid value and Richard-Missel value, they are not in our syllabus, but they are to be covered in this chapter. Now let us see the introduction of fats and oils. So before that we must know that there are 4 types of oily substances found in nature, and they are mineral oils, essential oils, waxes and fats and oils. So we have to study here fats and oils. So let us see its introduction. So commonly these fats and oils, they are known as the lipids. So this lipid is the Greek word, and this lipos, that stands for the fats. So fats and oils are most important lipids found in nature. Further, the fats and oils, they form one of the 3 major food factors needed for human body. Remaining 2 are proteins and carbohydrates. The fats and oils are widely distributed in foods, and they have great nutritional value. Now they provide concentrated reserve of energy in animal body, and that helps to maintain minimum body temperature. 1 gram of metabolized fat gives near about 9 kilocalorie energy, whereas the 1 gram of carbohydrate on metabolization, that gives 4 kilocalorie energy, while that of proteins gives 5.5 kilocalorie energy respectively. Now the definition of fats and oils, that is, they are defined as triesters of glycerol. Both fats and oils are the triesters of glycerol with long chain carboxylic acids, or they are also higher fatty acids, means they contain near about 12 to 20 carbon atoms in their molecule. Therefore they are known as triglycerides or simply glycerides. Now let's consider the general example of these triglycerides. So these triglycerides, they may be fat or oil. They are obtained by the esterification of this glycerol using these fatty acids or carboxylic acids. So this RCOOH, this is second molecule of RCOH and this is the third molecule of RCOH. Means 3 molecules of carboxylic acids are used to esterify the 3 hydroxyl groups of this glycerol, and that results in the formation of this triglyceride. So triesters of glycerol with long chain carboxylic acids are known as fats or oils. So there is loss of 3 molecules of water occurs, means 1 hydrogen from this OH, second hydrogen from this OH, third hydrogen from this OH, and these 3 OH groups from these 3 carboxyl groups, they forms 3 molecules of water, and we have the product this triglyceride. That triglyceride may be fat or oil. Now if all the 3 carboxylic acids used are same to esterify the 3 hydroxyl groups of glycerol, then the obtained triglyceride is known as simple triglyceride. And let us see, this is the example of simple triglyceride. And when the hydroxyl groups of the glycerol are esterified using more than one type of carboxylic acid, then we obtain a triglyceride which is mixed triglyceride. Now let us see, this is the one carboxylic acid, this is second type of carboxylic acid, and this is the third type of carboxylic acids. They are used to esterify the 3 OH groups of this glycerol, and we have this mixed triglyceride or mixed glyceride, and the name of this mixed glyceride is glyceryl palmitostearoolate. Now let's consider the next example. It is also simple triglyceride, means to esterify the 3 hydroxyl groups of glycerol, only one type of carboxylic acid or fatty acid is used, and that is here stearic acid, C17H35COH. So that is the stearic acid is used to esterify the hydroxyl groups of glycerol, and we have this simple triglyceride, or it is simple glyceride. Let's consider next example. Now here more than one type of carboxylic acids are used to esterify the glycerol. So this is the C15H35, this is C17H35, and this is C15H35. Means 2 types of fatty acids or carboxylic acids are used to esterify the glycerol, and the name of this one triglyceride is glyceryl stearatodipalmitate. So it is an example of mixed glyceride. So carboxylic acids that form ester chains in natural triglycerides may be saturated or that may be unsaturated. Means to esterify the hydroxyl groups of glycerol, the carboxylic acid used, they may be saturated or they may be unsaturated. Now let us see some of the fatty acids here listed used to esterify the hydroxyl groups of glycerol. So first example is here myristic acid. Its formula you can write down as like C13H27COH, or its structural formula can be represented like this: CS3 in bracket CH2 taken 12 times COH. So this is saturated fatty acid. Second example, it is palmitic acid. It can be written like C15H31COH. It is also saturated fatty acid. Its structural formula is like this one: CH3 in bracket CS2 taken 14 times COH. Next fatty acid is stearic acid. It can be represented like C17H35COH, its structural formula can be represented like the CH3 in bracket CH2 16 times COH. So all the above these three fatty acids or carboxylic acids, they are the saturated. Saturated means carbon atoms or all the valencies of carbon atoms except carboxyl carbon are satisfied by single covalent bonds. Now here the fourth example is oleic acid. Now in this oleic acid there is one double bond, that is carbon carbon double bond in its molecule. So it is an example of unsaturated fatty acid. Fifth one is linoleic acid. Now in linoleic acid there are two carbon carbon double bonds in its molecular formula or say structural formula. So the saturated fatty acids, when used to esterify the glycerol, they obtained a triglyceride that is known as the fat. And when unsaturated fatty acids are used to esterify the glycerol, they obtained a triglyceride that is known as oil, means that exist in liquid state, and fats exist in solid state. Now let us see here the fats that we have already explained. Fats are triesters of glycerol with saturated fatty acids, while oils are triesters of glycerol with unsaturated fatty acids. So in fats, all the fatty acids used are saturated. So their carbon chains can align themselves in a regular pattern, and such molecules can pack in a crystal and they exist in solid state at room temperature. Now let us see the general physical properties of oils and fats. Now both oils and fats, they may be in liquids form or they may be in solid state, but they have greasy feel. It is the common physical property of fats and oils. Next, both fats and oils, when they are in pure form, they are colorless, they are odorless and tasteless. And if they have any color like blue or brown, it means they contain impurities. If we compare the densities of fats and oils with water, then it has been found that the fats and oils are lighter than water. It means their specific gravity is less than 1. So they are insoluble in water. It means they floats on the surface of water when they mixed with water. But both fats and oils are readily soluble in organic solvents like benzene, ether, chloroform or hot alcohol. Now this is important physical property. So formation of emulsion. Both fats and oils readily form emulsions when they agitated means shaken with water in presence of soap or gelatin or other anyone emulsifier. So formation of emulsion with water. Emulsion means that is a one type of colloidal system, both liquid in liquid type of colloidal system. Means oil in water type of colloidal solution is known as emulsion. So both fats and oils form the emulsion when they agitated with water in presence of soap. Now next property is here non-volatile nature. Both fats and oils are non-volatile, but they decompose on strong heating and gives irritating odor of acrolein. So here both fats and oils are the non-volatile and they undergoes decomposition on heating and gives irritating odor of acrolein. Now this property we have already studied it, that is about their specific gravity. That is both fats and oils have lower specific gravity, means specific gravity is less than 1, that is less than water, and as a result of this they can float on the surface of water when they mixed with it. Now animal fats contain cholesterol. Cholesterol is nothing but unsaturated alcohol, and vegetable fats contain phytosterol. So all these are the physical properties of fats and oils. Now let us see here chemical properties of fats and oils. So first chemical property is hydrolysis. So both fats and oils are hydrolyzed to glycerol and fatty acid by heating with dilute acid or dilute alkalis or superheated steam. Now let's see the general reaction. This is the triglyceride. It may be fat or oil. It may be simple or it may be mixed type of triglyceride. And when it is heated with superheated steam, then it undergoes hydrolysis and forms glycerol, and we get here the mixture of these fatty acids. So this reaction is known as hydrolysis. So hydrolysis of fats and oils can be carried out by heating with dilute acids or dilute alkalis or superheated steam. So when these triglycerides are heated with alkalis, then they form the mixture of glycerol, and here instead of these fatty acids they form the alkali salts, means like sodium or potassium salts of the fatty acids, and that salts of fatty acids are called as here soaps because they are used for cleaning purpose. Now let us see here this hydrolysis process of fats and oils. It can also be brought about by enzymes like lipase. So in presence of enzyme lipase, this hydrolysis process occurs. So this is the fat, or it is glyceryl tripalmitate. It is a triester of glycerol with saturated fatty acid, and when it is hydrolyzed using this enzyme lipase, so it undergoes hydrolysis and forms glycerol and palmitic acid, that is a higher carboxylic acid. So if the hydrolysis is carried out using alkali, it gives alkali salts of fatty acids and glycerol, and these salts of fatty acids are used as soaps, and this process of hydrolysis of fats and oils by alkalis is known as saponification, and thus the sodium or potassium salts of higher fatty acids are known as soaps. Now let us see this general reaction, that is for the formation of soaps. So this sodium hydroxide is used for the hydrolysis of fat or oil. This is the triglyceride. It may be fat or oil, and when it is heated with sodium hydroxide, this undergoes hydrolysis and forms glycerol, and we have the mixture of here sodium salts of 3 fatty acids, RCONA, R-CONA and R-CONA. So mixture of soaps we have obtained in this reaction, and this reaction is the basis of soap industry. And instead of suppose sodium hydroxide, you can use potassium hydroxide in order to get the soaps which are soft, and these potassium salts of higher fatty acids are soft, so they are used in the manufacture of luxury soaps, beauty soaps and shaving soaps. Now next chemical property is hydrogenation, or it is also known as hardening of oils. So in this process the hydrogen gas, it is passed through the oil, This is glyceryl triolate. It is an example of oil. And when hydrogen gas is passed through oil in presence of finely divided nickel, then the double bond present in this oil that gets converted into single bond, means it gets converted into saturated form. Now this is the C17H33 and here is the C17H35. Means two hydrogen atoms are added across the carbon-carbon double bond, and this unsaturated fat gets converted into unsaturated, actually it is oil, and it is converted into the fat. So it is glyceryl tristearate. So when hydrogen gas is passed through oils in presence of finely divided nickel, then the double bond in the hydrocarbon chain are saturated and we obtain the hydrogenated oil. And this hydrogenated oil is in solid state and it is known as fat. Sometimes it is known as vegetable ghee, or it is also known as dalda, or another name of this is vanaspati ghee or margarine. And this hydrogenation process improves the color and taste of the oil. So this process is known as hardening of oil, because this oil is in liquid state and obtained product after hydrogenation is in solid state. So it is known as the hardening of oils. So these hardened oils are used for the manufacture of margarine, soaps and candles. Okay, means this hydrogenation process is nothing but hardening of oils, and that improves the color, odor and taste of the oils. Now third chemical property of fats and oils is hydrogenolysis. So what is hydrogenolysis? Hydrogenolysis is the process of splitting of compound by means of hydrogen. So hydrogenolysis is nothing but the process of splitting of a compound by means of hydrogen. Now here consider, if excess of hydrogen under pressure is passed through oil or fat in presence of copper chromite as a catalyst, then the fat or oil is split up into glycerol and higher aliphatic alcohol. Means both products are here alcohols. One is glycerol, which is polyhydric alcohol, and second is the higher aliphatic alcohols. Now let's see the reactions. So this is glyceryl tripalmitate. It is ester, commonly it is also known as here tripalmitin, and when it is treated with hydrogen, means when hydrogen gas is passed through this glyceryl tripalmitate in presence of copper chromite, then this glyceryl palmitate undergoes decomposition, undergoes splitting, and that forms glycerol and hexadecyl alcohol. This is the simple alcohol and this is the complex alcohol. Means it is polyhydric alcohol, this is monohydric alcohol, and this process is nothing but the hydrogenolysis. Now this is the second example. In the second example, glyceryl tristearate is treated with hydrogen gas in presence of copper chromite, then it gives glycerol and this is octadecyl alcohol. And these long chain monohydric alcohols, they are used for the production or for the manufacture of synthetic detergents. So this is about the hydrogenolysis. Now fourth chemical property of fats and oils is transesterification. So in transesterification, oils and fats are treated with lower alcohols in presence of sodium alkoxide, or copper chromite. Then the obtained product is simple ester, and this process is known as transesterification. So in this transesterification, fats and oils are converted into simple esters. Means here reactant is ester and product is also ester. Now let's see the reaction. Glyceryl tristearate. This is the example of fat or oil here. This is the fat one, C17H35. It means saturated fatty acid is used for the esterification of glycerol. So this is glyceryl tristearate, which is a fat, and it is treated with lower alcohol, like here methanol or methyl alcohol in presence of copper chromite. Then this molecule of glyceryl tristearate undergoes decomposition and forms the mixture of glycerol and methyl stearate. So methyl stearate is the simple ester. This glyceryl tristearate, it is a complex ester. Means here are three ester groups present in a molecule of glyceryl tristearate, and here is only one ester group in the molecule of methyl stearate. So conversion of complex ester into simple ester by treating with lower alcohol in presence of copper chromite. So this process is known as transesterification. So when fats and oils are treated with lower alcohols in presence of sodium alkoxide, instead of copper chromite we can use here also sodium alkoxide, or you may also use copper chromite. So that gives simple esters, and this process is known as transesterification. Now the fifth chemical property is rancidity and autooxidation, or it is also known as hydrolysis oxidation. Means here two reactions occur simultaneously. One is hydrolysis and second is the oxidation. Now this term rancid is applied to any fat or oil that develops disagreeable odor, and it is possible when that fat or oil is left exposed to warm, moist air for any length of time. Means when fat or oil is kept open for a long time, then that oil or fat develops a disagreeable odor, and that is nothing but called here rancid fat or rancid oil. Now this rancidity that occurs by, or that is caused by, hydrolysis of the ester linkage and oxidation of double bonds of the triglyceride. Triglyceride means that is the fats or oils. So when fats or oils are kept open for a long time, then the hydrolysis of the ester linkage of that fat occurs, and at the same time the oxidation of carbon-carbon double bonds occurs, and that forms the lower fatty acids or carboxylic acids, and they have disagreeable odor. And this process is called here rancidity. Now here these low molecular weight acids are produced, which are volatile, and they gives offensive odor to fat and oil. Now the first type of rancidity, it is the hydrolytic rancidity. Now this hydrolytic rancidity is particularly applicable to butter, and let's consider here this example. So this is the structure of butter. Here CH2 taken 2 times CH3, here CH2 4 times CH3, and here CH2 6 times CH3. So it is triglyceride commonly, and it is the structure of butter. And when this butter is kept or exposed, or you can say that kept open for long time, means when it comes in contact with moisture or it is warm, then it undergoes hydrolysis. This ester linkage, it is hydrolyzed, and that forms this carboxylic acids. This low molecular weight carboxylic acid, butyric acid, caproic acid, caprylic acid. So this is the mixture of low molecular weight carboxylic acids, and they have offensive odor, and here glycerol. So there is a mixture of glycerol and the low molecular weight carboxylic acids. So this process is called hydrolytic rancidity. Means the hydrolysis of ester linkage occurs here. So this is the hydrolytic rancidity. Now here these microorganisms present in the air that provides the enzyme lipase, and that catalyze the hydrolytic process. And this rancidity is caused, or the rancidity caused can be prevented by keeping the butter covered in refrigerator. Means we can prevent the rancidity of fat by covering and keeping it in refrigerator. Now second type of rancidity is oxidative rancidity. Now in this oxidative rancidity, the double bonds, here, see here, this oxidative rancidity occurs in triglycerides containing unsaturated acids. Means they containing double bonds, carbon-carbon double bond. And the ester linkage, we have already studied that here. The ester linkage hydrolyzed to form unsaturated acid, that is the hydrolysis, and these acids produced are undergoes oxidation. Means they undergoes cleavage at this carbon-carbon double bond side and forms short chain offensive aldehydes or acids. So these are the short chain acids. This is pelargonic acid, it is monocarboxylic acid. Here is only one carboxyl group in its molecule, and this is the azelaic acid, and it has two carboxyl groups in its molecule. So the acid produced after hydrolysis of the triester or fat undergoes oxidative cleavage at the site of carbon-carbon double bond and forms short chain offensive aldehydes or acids. Now the oxidation leading to rancidity in fats and oils is catalyzed by the presence of certain metallic salts. The addition of some antioxidants will preserve the edible fats for long period of storage. The antioxidants like vitamin E and ascorbic acid, they are present in natural fats and natural oils. So the antioxidants are used to prevent the oxidation or to prevent the rancidity, oxidative rancidity of fats and oils. Now the last point of this unit, that is the analysis of fats and oils. Now in this analysis of fats and oils, we have to study 4 parameters. Only 2 parameters are included in our syllabus, that are the saponification value and iodine value. In addition to these 2 parameters, we have to study the remaining 2 acid value and Richard-Missel value for the analysis of fats and oils. So this is the last point of this unit, that is analysis of fats and oils. So fats and oils, they are used as raw materials for the manufacture of soaps, drying oils and other products, and therefore their quality control is must or essential. Now some parameters of quality of oils and fats are described. First is the saponification value. It is also known as saponification number. Now its definition is the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to saponify 1 gram of oil or fat completely. It is known as saponification value or saponification number. The alternative definition for this is the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize completely fatty acids resulting from complete hydrolysis of 1 gram of fat or oil. It is also known as saponification value. So saponification value is nothing but the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize the complete fatty acids resulting from the hydrolysis of 1 gram of fat or oil. So this is nothing but the saponification value. Now this saponification value gives the idea about the molecular weight. It gives the idea about molecular weight of fat or oil. Smaller the saponification value, higher will be the molecular weight. Now this saponification value is useful for calculating the amount of alkali required for converting definite amount of fat or oil into soap. For example, let's consider here 1 mole of fat or oil requires 3 moles of potassium hydroxide. You know the molecular weight of potassium hydroxide is 56. So 3 into 56 equals to 168 gram, or it is also equals to 1,68,000 milligram of potassium hydroxide that is used or required for the saponification of 1 mole of fat or oil. In general, if letter capital M indicates the molecular mass of oil, then we can say that m gram of oil requires this 1,68,000 milligram of potassium hydroxide. It means 1 gram of oil requires 1,68,000 upon capital M milligram of potassium hydroxide. So from this formula we can say that greater the value of M, smaller will be the saponification value and vice versa. Now second parameter is here iodine value, or it is also known as iodine number. So iodine value is defined as the number of grams of iodine that combine with 100 gram of oil or 100 gram of fat. So it is nothing but iodine value. Number of grams of iodine that combine with 100 gram of oil or fat is known as iodine value. Now this iodine value of oil or fat is measure of degree of its unsaturation, and it gives the idea about its drying character. It also helps in finding the adulteration in fat and oil, and also it helps in judging its suitability for making soap. Further, it also helps to determine, it is a procedure for the determination of iodine value, and this iodine value of fat and oil is determined by adding a known excess of which solution to a solution of known weight of oil or fat in carbon tetrachloride. So which solution is nothing but the iodine monochloride in glacial acetic acid, and the unused iodine is estimated by titrating with hyposolution. This is the procedure given to determine the iodine value. Now the formula for iodine value is here. Iodine value is equal to, in bracket small a minus b, into 1.27 upon W. So here the meanings of A and B and W are given. That is, A is the reading for the blank experiment. Blank experiment means here is no fat and oil used in this experiment. B, small letter B, that is nothing but the reading for the actual experiment, means here fat and oil is used. It is also called a back experiment. And W, that indicates the weight of fat or oil taken. So by using this formula we can calculate the iodine value of given fat and oil. Now some saponification values and iodine values of some fats and oils are given here. So consider this is the coconut fat and its saponification value lies in the range of 250 to 260 and iodine value in the range of 8 to 10. For butter fat, its saponification value is in the range of 210 to 230 and that of iodine value lies in the range of 26 to 28. Similarly here, consider last one, sunflower oil. Its saponification value lies in the range of 188 to 194 and that of iodine value is in the range of 140 to 156. And last, linseed oil have saponification value lies in the range of 187 to 195 and its iodine value lies in the range of 170 to 185. Now the third parameter for the analysis of fat and oil is acid value. So this acid value of fat and oil is nothing but number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize 1 gram of fat or oil. Here is another one alternative definition for acid value. It is the number of milligrams of potassium hydroxide required to neutralize the free organic acids present in 1 gram of fat or oil. So this is about the acid value. And last parameter for the analysis of fat and oil is Richard-Missel value. It is also known as RM value and it is defined as the number of milliliters of N by 10. N by 10 means 0.1 normal potassium hydroxide solution required to neutralize the distillate of 5 grams of hydrolyzed fat or oil. So it is called Richard-Missel value. So Richard-Missel value is nothing but number of milliliters of N by 10 potassium hydroxide solution required to neutralize the distillate of 5 grams of hydrolyzed fat or oil. Now this Richard value or RM value is a measure of volatile fatty acids present in esters or present as esters in fats or oils. It is also used for checking the purity of butter or ghee. Now for pure butter and ghee, the RM value lies in the range of 20 to 30. For coconut oil, RM value is in the range of 6 to 8.5 and for palm kernel oil, the RM value lies in the range of 4 to 7. So these two parameters, acid value and Richard-Missel value, they are not in our syllabus but easy to understand, so we have taken here. So in this chapter we have studied the introduction, chemical nature, general physical properties and chemical properties of fats and oils. In chemical properties we have studied hydrolysis, hydrogenation, hydrogenolysis, transesterification, rancidity and autooxidation. And analysis of fats and oils, here we have studied the 4 parameters. Only first 2 are in our syllabus, that is saponification value and iodine value, and remaining 2 are not in our syllabus, but all we have covered here. So in this way we have completed the first section of this unit, fats and oils, of the 4th unit, that is oils, fats, soaps and detergents. So in the next lecture we will cover the remaining two sections of these units, that is soaps and synthetic detergents. So thank you for watching the complete video. So keep watching all the videos along with this video. So stay home and stay safe. Our next incoming video, that will be on the topic soaps and synthetic detergents. So thank you once again.